What the heck is Vanguard doing? Well, So I share with you the client that I'm dealing with. Husband, 62. Wife is 54. All right. Husband took Social Security in July this year, 2023, when he turned 62. He died the next month. And we're going to have our annual review in October. The first thing I would have told him, because there's no way under God's green earth he should have taken his Social Security at 62. There's no way. And I would have said, we'll call him Joe. I said, Joe, go back to Social Security and stop that. You don't want Social Security at 62. Why? Because now you've locked in your spouse to a lower survivor benefit. Unfortunately, he died at 62. He died a month later. So his wife is forever going to have a lower survivor benefit because he had all of 1 month of a Social Security. Wow. So she'll be reduced by 32% on the survivor benefit because he had 1 month of Social Security. Just is mind-boggling how mistake. That's just a horrible mistake. And we were going to, I didn't. I just, I think we talked, we don't do annual reviews. We do once. It depends on what the client wants. If he wants to do once every 4 years, we do it once every 4 years. If he wants to do once every year, we do it every year. That's fine. But I didn't, she told me when I was talking to her, I said, oh, why did you do that? She goes, I knew that he was going to talk to you in October because he wanted to know if he should roll over his pension or do that, or do the pension or roll it over. I would have said, well, what's the deal with Social Security? Oh, I took it. No, go down there now and redo that. Anyway. Of course, just as a side note, if she takes Social Security survivor benefit at 60, which she can do, it will be reduced by this, which is already reduced by 32%, will be reduced by another almost 30%. She can get, I think it's like 71.5% of the survivor benefit if she takes her survivor benefit at 60. Yeah. Infuriates me. All right, that's not what I want to talk about Vanguard. And this is not what's that guy's name? Bob Burger. Vanguard, I got killed with capital gain tax. Oh my goodness, dude. How did you not know in a brokerage account, if you have a mutual fund, there are capital gain distributions? How did you not know that? That's not Vanguard. That's not Bob Burger. I don't know if you followed that for a couple years ago. Oh, that's infantile stuff. I'm not bashing the guy. That's infantile stuff. The idea, I got a mutual fund in a brokerage account. I didn't expect to have a lot of capital gains. They freaking give you reports on the expected capital gains, Bob Burger. What are you doing? You going to hold Vanguard accountable for that? All you got to do is look at any account right now and say, what's the percentage of capital gains that's undistributed? I don't know. We'll look at healthcare funds. Probably like 70% of the capital gains are unrealized, I should say, not undistributed, unrealized. Which means a lot of that capital gains could come back to you. How does any experienced guy not know this? It's mind-boggling. All right. So here, I'm just disappointed in people. Guy had $1 million in his IRA. 401 IRA is an IRA. All right, $1 million. All right. Does anything jump out at you here? So here's our scenario. He was 62, had $1 million in his IRA. There's no other survivors, no other beneficiaries other than his wife, who's 54. Does anything jump out at you there? I'm hoping something does. So let me just explain what happens, which anyone in my business should know a mile away. If she assumes that IRA as if it's hers, all right? She goes, just move that IRA into my own name as if it's mine. She can do that. And guess what happens? The distributions come out with a 10% penalty because she's under the age of 59 and a half. So what we don't want to do is do that. We don't want to do that because she's only 54. She doesn't work. I mean, she has a lot going on in her life. She's not like sitting around eating bonbons. She's taking care of her mom and dad. She's busting her ass trying to figure all this crap out. By the way, the stupid county or the bank didn't even put her on the deed as a home. as a homeowner, even though she's on the freaking documents, which happened in Charlotte, by the way, Fulton County. They neglected to put Charlotte on the deed. I just happened to look at the GIS information, Geographic Information Systems, whatever it's called, service. And I said, wait, why is my wife on the deed? She's on the freaking the paperwork to be on the deed. So it's a nightmare. And she is freaking handling this like a trooper. I'm pissed. And she's just a nice lady. Because she's Southern, she's Christian, and she's just glad that she has enough to get by. But I'm pissed. I'm freaking pissed. So what we don't want to do is move that money into her name as if it's her own IRA, because that would be dumb. What we want to do instead is we want to have this as an inherited IRA. So basically we have, Joe Snuffy, inherited IRA for benefit of Martha Snuffy. You see what I'm saying? If it's an inherited IRA, she can take distributions without a 10% penalty, because death is one of the exceptions to the premature distribution rule. How can, this is mind-boggling. So let's show you what Vanguard did. Let me get my spectacles on because I'm going to read you the email. This is educating people on financial planning. Not her. Educating people who should be knowledgeable about financial planning is one of my labors of love, I suppose. So let's just read what I call her Martha. All right, here we go. So, what did Martha say here? She said, so I told Martha, I said, so we called, I talked to her, I said, okay, Martha, make sure you call Vanguard and tell them, because what Vanguard did is they put it into her own IRA. They put it into her own IRA. And I said, tell them you don't want that you did not understand what they were doing, that they were putting into your IRA. You thought it was going to be an inherited IRA. So I said, call them back and change this over. I love Martha. She freaking crushes. Heavenly Father, I just pray for all those sudden widows and widowers out there. I just pray that the decedent set them up correctly to minimize the crap they got to go through, Lord. And I'm just so grateful for people like Martha here who just see the good in everything and come out of this shining and smelling like roses. I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for them to be part of my life because, man, they just show me humanity is still crushing and we still just turn to you in all things because with your guidance, we will see things through. We pray in Jesus' name, amen. All right, so I said, Martha, call Vanguard ASAP and tell them what we want, which is to put the money into an inherited IRA, not your own IRA. And she said to me, Josh, I talked to Vanguard and they said it was possible. They said it was possible to change. I shouldn't do that because Martha's not who I'm wanting to mark. I'm wanting to mark Vanguard. So she said, Josh, I talked with Vanguard and they said it was possible to change to an inherited IRA, but it have to be distributed in 10 years. The IRA I have now, the guy I talked to Vanguard, believed it would fall under the 72T rules because of death. And there would not be early distribution penalty. He said he really didn't understand why it's being directed to an inherited IRA. He highly suggested I talk to a tax advisor and verify the implications. Ironically, I was talking to this other lady the other day, and her tax advisor didn't know crap about the post-55, or CPA didn't know crap about the post-55 rules. So if you separate from service after the age of, in the year that you turn the age of 55 and you leave your money in that employer's plan, you have access to it without penalty. He highly suggests I talk to a tax advisor and verify the implications. Then he goes, I also learned my account is in 3 funds. He said there's a scale to use 1 through 5, with 1 being almost 0 risk and 5 being the most risky. Out of the 3 funds, 1 of them is a level 1, the second level is a level 4, and the third is a level 5. I also asked him about rolling into the money market, and he said you really need to get tax advice before I do anything. Why does she need to get tax advice to put it in a money market inside an IRA? So that's where I'm at today. And then I said to Martha, I said, Man, Vanguard's really getting on my nerves. If you simply move the IRA to you, where it is just your IRA, as it appears that Vanguard has done, you can't get access to your money without a 10% penalty until you are 59 and a half. I would think everybody knows this, everybody in my business. But if you open an inherited IRA and use your life expectancy as the distribution method, there's no 10-year rule applicable to as you are the spouse. You're the freaking spouse. For the love of me, I don't get why these guys don't get this. Anyway, we want an inherited IRA. Not in your name, but an inherited one. This is absolutely the way to do this. If they can't get this right, we'll just move the money to Schwab, because I think Schwab would get it right. Anyway, here's from Vanguard's own website, for heaven's sake. Vanguard's own website. For an inherited IRA received from a decedent who passed away after December 31st, 2019. So inherited IRA, which is Martha, received from a decedent, Joe, who passed away after 2019. Yes, yes, yes. Generally, a designated beneficiary is required to liquidate the account by the end of the 10th year, following the year of death. Generally, a designated beneficiary, that's not a trust, that's a person, it's a designated beneficiary, a person who breathes, is required to liquidate the account by the 10th year after the date of death of the decedent, known as a 10-year rule. An RMD may be required in years 1 through 9 when the decedent has already begun taking RMDs. The decedent has not begun taking RMDs, so that's not applicable here. There are exceptions for certain eligible designated beneficiaries defined by the IRS. One exception is a spouse. A spouse. This is on Vanguard's own website. Well, maybe Vanguard doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, so I went over to Kiplinger's. I forward these links. Many IRAs inherited after 2019 are subject to the 10-year cleanout rule. The IRA funds must be distributed to beneficiaries within 10 years of the date of death of the owner. There are some exceptions for beneficiaries who are surviving spouses. And here's some Schwab. Open an inherited IRA. All right. You transfer the assets to an inherited IRA held in your name. All right. So check this out. I'm going to go over here. Let me just hold on a second. RMDs are mandatory, and you have the option to postpone distributions until the later of the year in which the decedent would have turned 73. All right, so again, this is an inherited IRA. RMDs are mandatory, and you have the option to postpone distributions until the later of the year in which the decedent would have turned 73. All right, well, he's 62, so that's 9 years from now. All right, distribution, or whatever. Your annual distributions are spread over your single life expectancy, which is determined by your age in the calendar year following the year of death and reevaluated each year. If multiple beneficiaries, not multiple beneficiaries, RMDs are mandatory and you are taxed on each distribution. We already talked about that, but she can wait until he turns 73. Undistributed, right here. You will not incur the 10% early withdrawal penalty. You will not. So we got Kiplinger's, Vanguard, Schwab, and your old buddy Josh. All right. So then I said, okay, got it. She emails me back. I'll call them and get it straight. Thanks. I said, let me know how it goes. Then she said to me, just emailed me yesterday, different day, same roller coaster. Vanguard Research Department now said it is not possible to switch to an inherited IRA. Not the updated I want to hear, but I'm remaining thankful I have more than enough to cover some expenses she has and the early withdrawal penalty. Thanks for checking in, though. And I said, man, that so ticks me off, Martha. I'm glad you're taking it well, though. Vanguard truly messed this up. Either way, you're going to be fine, but it's just another example that folks need to get their stuff in order without relying on the financial firms. And then she says, I agree. I should have been told the difference of the two, inherited versus assumed. In all fairness, there is some culpability on my part. There's no culpability on your part. No, Martha, it's not your fault. There's no culpability on your part. I wasn't prepared. Not being prepared launching me into a space that has been terrifying. However, I now understand listening and learning is crucial. And also not to forget to take deep breaths along the way. Again, you are so very kind and I appreciate your help and advice. I saw the sweet picture of you and your mom. She should be super proud. You're definitely one of the good ones. Thank you. So we're on the locals thing last night. And, people were like, fight this, and she just doesn't want to. I'm going to email her again, but she's like, she just got enough on her plate. She's like, dude, Vanguard screwed up. The worst case scenario is I got to pay an extra $10,000 in taxes on $1 million. I'll do it. I want to move on, essentially. It's just not acceptable, though. It's not. None of this is acceptable. And Vanguard's. I can't believe how many. It's like when Larry Kolikoff talks about Social Security. I hate to say misleading widows, but kind of misleading widows, and they get robbed of hundreds of millions of dollars of Social Security benefits because Social Security steered them in the wrong direction without being held accountable. And they admit it too, by the way. But did it change anything? Did those widows get their money? No. And then ironically, Social Security paid all these other people all this money, and then they just waived it. And then they got some pushback politically, and they said, we'll just waive it, forget it. Like, what the hell is it? Dude, it's on you, man. It's on you to know your stuff. I'm not mad at Martha. I'm mad at freaking her husband. Rest in peace. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed in the husband. What were you thinking, dude? What were you thinking? To take Social Security at 62? What were you thinking not to have a beneficiary on your IRA? What were you thinking? What were you thinking? We talked about that. I'm pissed at Vanguard. What are you guys thinking? She's under the age of 59 and a half, fools. What is this? Death is not... Death is no longer applicable to you if you take over the account if it's yours, because you aren't dead. If she just pulls the IRA, assumes the IRA into hers, she's still alive, Vanguard. Thus, death is not a applicable exception to the early distribution rules. Well, then move it to a money market. What the hell is that? Oh my goodness. I have a good friend. Well, I haven't heard from her in a while. I mean, I would consider her a good friend. She's a CPA. She worked for me at USA, and she freaking crushes. And she went to Schwab, and she told me it's like hit or miss, man. Some of these financial planners are good, just some aren't that good. It's like hit or miss. And she goes, I spend a lot of my time cleaning up messes from some of the financial planners that just aren't that good. It's not like they're evil. They just don't know. And that's my concern about these, free financial plans, first personal advisory services that Schwab and Vanguard offer fidelity to. Is like, who are you getting? Kid who just learned a CFP. All right, well, that's great. But look, because I made a mistake going back. Hell, I can't imagine how many people I screwed up when I was at Vanguard in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. They said, you can't give specific advice, but, at the end of the day, I don't know. I mean, who knows? You don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, you got to clean this crap up, Vanguard. You got to clean this crap up because this is rookie league stuff. And there's $1 million at stake here. I know that's not much money for you guys because you're running with BlackRock and freaking George Soros and these evil World Economic Forum scumbags. That's a lot of money for us minions. That's more than I got. And I'm a professional. And you just can't have widows being told bad information, especially when your own website says otherwise. And when I was at Vanguard, I think it was at Vanguard, I can't remember. But certainly when I was at USA, there's a thing you could click on, like an intranet essentially, if you had a question about early distributions, you click on this. It was kind of a hassle, and it was kind of cloudy, but we had this one guy named Paul. I'm not going to say his last name, but it's one of the most brilliant and we had another guy named Chris, Paul and Chris, two of the most brilliant financial planners I ever knew, by far. They just do everything. It was nuts. Not the most, you probably, not bad guys, but very, not the friendliest chaps. Doesn't mean they weren't mean. They're just very, like Chris. I remember, I kicked ass, man. I was listening to one of his calls. He's saying, well, you should look at whole life insurance. Because whole life insurance is not a scam. It does have a place for wealthy people who have lots of positive cash flow. And the guy apparently said to him, I don't believe in whole life. And Chris says, well, it's not the Easter Bunny. It truly exists. The whole life insurance is a real thing. The way he said it, though, is so matter-of-factly. And this the guy got pissed, like, because he thought he was mocking him or something like that. Chris, like, well, it's not the Easter Bunny. It really exists. Whole life insurance. Oh my goodness, that was so funny. That guy. So I sat here. He sat cat a corner there to me. Oh my goodness. And he rubbed people wrong in a lot of ways, but I freaking that guy crushed, man. He rubbed me right. He was just a funny guy. Paul, on the other hand, was over here. I didn't hear him. He was 2 rows away from me in our cubicle farm. And but he would anyway, just brilliant guys. Brilliant guys. I don't think these guys are at Vanguard. That's the problem. And at USA, they let good financial planners be good financial planners and dive deep, study for the CTFA. You know what I'm saying? All these things. And they sent. There's a University of Miami has a law thing for estate planning. I forgot what it's called. Every year they have it. They send some of our guys over that. I want to say it's Kerrigan or something like that. It's not. I forgot what it was. They sent our guys University of Miami annual estate planning thing. You know, Kitsis came a couple times. Natalie Choate came. We were just the best financial planners on the planet. And to see that get ruined by some clown from TIA Craft who came and ruined the thing just freaking pisses me off. Hey, on a happy note, happy Thanksgiving. Get your crap in order. On the Locals Live last night, so I have my life insurance with Company X. And I wanted to validate because I told Charlotte when I was going to see my mom, I said, I just want you to know in case something happens to me on the road that I got my life insurance with Company X. All right. She goes, yeah, I got you. So I called her live on our Locals live stream last night. If you want to join my Locals channel, it's in the doobie-doo, $5 a month, and you can join the fun and festivities. And so I called her and live. I said, hey, babes, remember I told you I have life insurance? She goes, yeah. I said, who did I tell you I have it with? She goes, MetLife. Not with MetLife. I said, no. USA? No. Navy Federal? No. I said, babe, I just told you this 3 days ago. And it was the guy I was just talking to just a few minutes ago. He said, tell your wife, Josh, that my wife knows where your life insurance is. I said, I know. And God bless, man. Have a good Thanksgiving. America crushes. We're still the best game going. And as much as this ticks me off of Vanguard, it's not a ding on Vanguard with John Bogle. Because John Bogle, he's sitting up there at the heavenly choirs are freaking trumpeting and saying how much money he saved regular people. John Bogle is the man. All right, love your thoughts. We'll see you.